Battle through the heavens, Grand World. Chapter 127 Pressure. At this moment, there were only Xiao Yan, the other three, and a few registrators in the empty hall. When they heard the old man suddenly calling him by his last name, Xiao Yan couldn't help but be startled. Ji Yun and the others also turned their heads in confusion. "You are the chairman of Spirit Sky City, Ji Yun, right?" The old man took a look at the list of names related to Xiao Yan in his hand, looked up at Ji Yun, and said with a smile, "How about you ask Xiao Yan to come with me for a while?" Ji Yun subconsciously nodded his head when he heard this. He then looked at Xiao Yan. He was an experienced man, and he instantly realized that this might be a good opportunity for the Spirit Sky City. Anyone could feel that it was a good opportunity to be welcomed by a powerful figure of the Spiritual Sky City's Alchemist Association with a smile on his face. Xiao Yan didn't hesitate. Subconsciously, he knew that this might have something to do with the blue-haired youth. Perhaps, he could know more about the youth's strength. He quickly walked forward and cupped his hands towards the old man. "Young Xiao Yan, greetings great master." The old man took a look at the information about Xiao Yan in his hand. A hint of joy emerged in his eyes, and the sadness in his eyes dissipated. He said in a friendly manner, "Come with me." After saying that, he led the way and walked towards the back of the hall. When Xiao Yan saw this, he quickly followed behind. Fu Zan watched the two of them leave, and couldn't help but look at Ji Yun with a puzzled look. Ji Yun ignored him, and looked at the direction of the back of the hall. He was lost in thought. After following the old man to the back palace, the old man handed the list of the blue-haired youth to Xiao Yan and said, "This is the reason why I called you here. Take a look." Xiao Yan looked at the list made of special materials in his hand. The blue-haired young man's appearance was clearly shown on the list. There was a trace of a wild and unruly smile at the corner of his mouth, as if he had declared his boldness to ignore everything. Li Zan, representing Wushan City in the competition. Age 18, Alien Realm Soul, middle stage. After reading the information about the blue-haired young man, Xiao Yan was shocked. The soul power of a middle period of alien stage was enough to concoct a 5th-rank medicine pill. If this was really the case, then there was no point for the pill competition to compete with him. No one was a match for him. Middle period of alien stage, I didn't expect that kid to be so strong. When the old man saw the shocked expression on Xiao Yan's face, he couldn't help but smile bitterly. "I really didn't expect that." Xiao Yan nodded his head honestly and said, "If that's the case, I don't think the master will be able to help even if he calls the kid over." The gap between each grade of the medicine pill was extremely huge. Within the first tier of the medicine pill, there was still a possibility of them winning by relying on the effects of the medicine pill. However, it was obviously impossible to win the 5th-rank medicine pill with a 4th-grade medicine pill. The old man was silent for a moment. Then, he let out a sigh. "I don't know what to do either, but this year, I absolutely can't let the Alchemist of Mercenary Corps win the championship. Therefore, I'm going to bring you to President Li's place. With your talent, I'll see what you can do." He looked at a grand hall not far away from the passageway. "That should be the Spiritual Sky City's Alchemist Guild." Xiao Yan pondered for a moment. Then said, "If my guess is correct, the Spiritual Sky City will send out 5 alchemists. Those 5 should be genius alchemists. Are they not enough to deal with Li Zan?" The old man shook his head and said with a bitter smile, "The soul of a middle period of alien stage is not something that an early alien realm can defeat. If Li Zan didn't make some preparations, he would have won the competition with ease. At that time, the Spirit Heaven Mansion will become the laughing stock of the star field. Therefore, the alchemists of the Spirit Heaven Mansion had to work together to deal with him. Your age and your talent." Even the 5 of them had no choice but to admit defeat. After listening to the old man's words, Xiao Yan picked up Li Zan's information and started reading it. This guy was actually so powerful. After the time it takes for half an incense stick to burn, Xiao Yan was led by the old man to Li Daoyuan's room. There were already 2 men and 2 women in the room. The old man who had left earlier was sitting opposite of Li Daoyuan. Both of them had serious expressions on their faces. When everyone saw the old man bring a young man in, they couldn't help but feel slightly shocked. "It's him." Zhou Gutian, who was standing at the front, frowned when he saw Xiao Yan. He then said respectfully to the old man, "Greetings, Martial Uncle Wu." The old man looked at Zhou Gudian and smiled. Then, he walked to Li Daoyuan's side and pointed at Xiao Yan. He handed the information of Xiao Yan to Li Daoyuan, who had a solemn expression on his face. Taking advantage of this small gap, Xiao Yan couldn't help but look at the 4 people beside him. All of them were wearing green alchemist robes. The leading man had black hair that draped over his shoulders. He was extremely handsome, and he also looked at the handsome man behind him. As for the 2 girls at the back, one of them was tall and slender. They looked at Xiao Yan with no emotion in their eyes. The other one seemed to be quite weird. She was looking at Xiao Yan with a smile on her face. Both of them were extremely rare beauties. 8 years old, early alien realm soul. Li Daoyuan looked at Xiao Yan's information in his hand and was slightly shocked. He looked at Xiao Yan and pondered for a moment. He said with some uncertainty, are you breaking through to the fighting monarch of lower realm? Seeing Xiao Yan nod his head, Li Daoyuan could not help but suck in a breath of cold air. He said in disbelief, what the 3-step soul transfer said is actually true. Little guy, who is the one who helped you transform your soul energy? Hearing the urgency in Li Daoyuan's voice, Xiao Yan pondered for a moment. Then, he said, when I first arrived in the Great World, I accidentally entered a secret realm. The master of the secret realm was an old man, because I told him about the lower realm. In return, I helped you with the 3-step soul transfer. After that, he disappeared without a trace. As he spoke, Xiao Yan was calm and collected. He did not feel nervous at all. Sensing that Xiao Yan's physiological functions did not change at all, Li Daoyuan also believed what Xiao Yan said. After pondering for a moment, he sighed and said, you little fellow, you really got lucky. I'm afraid that even I can only look up to that old man's strength. That's not the case. Teacher's strength is at the supreme saint level. It's not something you can compare with. He laughed in his heart, but Xiao Yan still did not show any expression on his face. Since the legend of the 3-step soul transfer is true, it means that you can concoct pills beyond your level, right? Li Daoyuan stood up and walked in front of Xiao Yan. Seeing Xiao Yan nod his head, a trace of joy flashed across Li Daoyuan's eyes. He thought for a while and said to Zhou Gudian, go and call Xiao Yu over. Zhou Gudian nodded his head and looked at Xiao Yan in surprise. After that, he left in a hurry. The other 3 men were also shocked. They said goodbye to Li Daoyuan and left as well. The legendary 3-step soul transfer is actually real. It's the one called Xiao Yan. Doesn't that mean he is even stronger than eldest senior brother? After coming out of Li Daoyuan's room, the petite girl couldn't help but mutter. When the handsome man heard this, he sighed and smiled. Impossible, eldest senior brother is able to refine a grade 4 7-star medicine pill. However, if he can jump ranks to refine Gudian's, then he should be slightly stronger than senior brother Gudian. And that Li Zan, the sole power of a middle period of alien stage, this is simply bullying. The girl who spoke earlier pouted and said with a wronged expression. Lu Ying snorted in annoyance and anger. She gritted her teeth and said, we can't let those bastards from the mercenary corps win the championship. After saying that, she left angrily. Looking at Lu Ying's back as she left, the man let out a helpless sigh. Just Li Zan alone had made these so-called genius alchemists of spiritual Sky City feel incomparably powerless. Mid-alien realm soul, none of them had the qualifications to be his opponent. Martial uncle, senior disciple Xiao Yu is here. Just as Li Daoyuan was deep in thought with his eyes closed, Zhou Gudian knocked on the door and walked in. A man with an ordinary face and a serious expression walked in as well. Chapter end. Hi guys, please like, comment, share, and subscribe.